ain't luck. This is Jim Rat Crypto. This is the GRC anthem.
I'm a gym rat, stacking gains and crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. 6 a.m. rise in the zone with the squad. Metal plates clang while I battle the evil dogs. Pain is the profit, sweat is the proof. Logging the dexes, ticker GRC blowing the roof. No cap in the feed, no chill in the veins. Mirror the charts, I'm built from gains. GRC pressing heart like a preacher in flames. Pump posts like the block, bring waves to the chain. No spoon-fed picks, I bench my own fate. I don't wait on moonshots, I dictate.
Crypto muscle, crypto hustle, one rep, one goal. Bulging quads like server farms, mining blocks for the soul. While it's stack, feel like PR day flex, no stress. Huddle hard, train harder, cash out, say less. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. It's the RC anthem. He been pushing Richard Hart, bro, elevate the chain. No throne too high for those who grind through pain. RH had vision, now GRC's that flame. Igniting the pulse, no shortcuts in this game. Motivation ain't fluff, it's raw and exact. Built off losses, comebacks, never distract. Level up, lad right, that's the gym rat code. Spotting kings, lifting dreams while building his own road. Push the weight, push the chain, tokens jump, no shame in game. Pulse, no sleep, it's hard and hustle. We mine our truth to sweat and muscle. Bar for bar, coin for coin, gym rat leading, not just joining. This the anthem, GRC, we coined it. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. Swell, this the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain man. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. This the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain man. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. This the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain mansion.
This ain't hype. This ain't luck. This is Jim Rat Crypto. This is the GRC anthem.
Break limits, break chains, no cap, all motion. Gym bars and blockchains set the world in motion. Built for the rise, never timid, never quit. Weights in my hands, gains in my wallet. This is it.
GRC.
What is up, guys? It's your boy GRC. Where twerk Bo, Burner Wallet. We got Gandhi in the chat. We got Burner Wallet. Good to see you, Gandhi. Crazy week last week. Oh my God. So much to talk about, but we're not doing too much talking today. That's for sure. We're doing the... Damn it! My mic is not plugged in. This is the worst case scenario. Fuck. Excuse my language. See, you know what? When we do Ethereum privacy talk, we don't get as much love. But I'm really excited to listen to Ethereum roadmap, privacy tools. Most of them are used for scamming, but they're very interesting to talk about. Privacy is a really big deal in crypto. It's something that the newer users like myself didn't care about as much. Now I care more about privacy, but do I care for the right reasons? Do I care for the wrong reasons? I don't know. I don't even know. I wish nobody knew anything that I ever did. kind of. What's up? I click buttons. I'm here for the ETH. Who took all the ETH? Richard Hart took all the ETH, Gandhi. Richard Hart took all the ETH. And I have a seriously crazy theory about the Ethereum price and the Richard Hart wallets that have completely destroyed so many people's lives. I mean, Richard Hart is #1 fat liar guy, #1 fat gooner guy, #1 fat scammer guy, #1 everything bad. Bridged another $1 million off the bridge today. I told everyone lower lows. From now it's getting a ridiculous amount of time, because once you look at the numbers, it's so clear, but you have to look at the numbers. #1 top tier goon guy, RH, #1 goon guy. I have a few things to say before we get into the privacy deal. This is not about me. This is not about Chia. This is not about Pulse Chain. This is about privacy tools that are coming out, roadmaps. Vitalik's the roadmap, Gunner King, really. Wait. Can I get an audio check? Can someone tell me if I have an audio check? Audio check, audio check, audio check, audio check. My light's on. Look at the reverb. Picking up the wrong mic. Fuck. Damn it. No. All right, give me a second, guys. I'm going to play the Gym Rat Anthem one more time unless someone can tell me my audio is good. Hold on, let me look. General audio, DeFi Yeti. It says it's going through my Yeti. And then the speaker that I use is ASOS. I think that I might have just messed up and you might be a little behind me. We got a user on Twitch. Good. Keep up the good work. I would love to join your fan base. Can you add me on Discord? I don't have a Discord for you to add, but I am in the Tangame Discord. And if you are a GRC coin holder, you do get rewards in the Tangame Discord. So let me know. Audio is good. We've heard you the whole time. Cool. All right, Richard Hart, #1 gooner guy. #1, I'm taking down Richard Hart. That's always been kind of the theme for the last couple of weeks, but let's get into some fun first. And then we're going to literally play the whole thing through. I'll talk about it, and I want you guys to type in the chat if you have any privacy tidbits you'd like to throw in, guys. GRC, we don't steal everyone's money. We just move. We move different, straight up. No, but meme contests are great. This is a kind of a concept that I've just been learning. The community kind of pushed me to do it. And I haven't really been too much into memeing, but like last couple months, it's been way fun. I understand the meme power. Now I understand the power of the meme, the power of the pump. Damn, it's echoey. I think that it might have been echoey. Damn. Is it just my room? Dude, I'm paranoid right now. I hear the mic, perhaps it's not close enough. Usually these mics, you don't really have to be anywhere near it, and they kind of input off the side, but we'll see. GRC meme contest. You got memes, you got muscles. It's time to flex both. Welcome to the official GRC meme battle. Make the gym laugh, that's me, or cry, or both. First place, 100K GRC. Second place, 55K GRC. Third place, 25K GRC. Okay? You can get a shark position just for making a meme. Okay? That's fun. That's called fun. That's called me not trying to steal, me trying to be cool. Trying to stay. When I say steal, like everyone kind of comes at you every time you do something, even if there is no input. Like, this is just a giveaway. This is just to create content. This is just very low barrier to entry stuff. And I think that's the right way to go about it. Like, retweet, drop a meme in the comments, use hashtag GRC, WGRC, tag GymRatCrypto. That's all you have to do. That's me chasing down Richard Hart. Damn, I need some soundproofing. Damn, I'm such a wrecked pleb, Gandhi. God damn it. My OCD kills me when I know something's up. The door's open too. I don't know, dude. I'm going to shut off my mic once that thing gets on anyway. So guys, all you have to do is retweet this, like and retweet this tweet, drop a meme in the comments, use hashtag GRC, but you have to drop a meme. You can do whatever you want, but dropping a meme. Dude, I'm just getting started, click buttons, and I want everyone to know, like, this has been a hard time for me. Not because of on the feet stuff as much as like, when you're fighting through a point that you know is true, but there's still like hundreds of thousands of people that think it's right and they're actually decent people, and people are giving you threats and all sorts of wildness, and none of them really know, or I'm not worried about that as much. You get stressful, right? I want to go back to education. I want to go back to learning about privacy tools. I want to go back to learning about the best minds in crypto, moving appropriately, risk, security, anonymity, stuff that we really are going to have to come to terms with as we move forward. That's what I need to lean on a little more. I mean, RH slander is great. It's great. I mean, it's deserved. It's true. Everything I'm saying about Richard Hart is so true. It's disgusting, and there's probably more truth to it than I even know. Richard is a #1 scam guy. Richard Hart, #1 scam guy. All right, so real quick, I'll just show you some of the. That's Gene back in the day saying sweat is just fat crying. That's a good little runner up. Then this one is about me being a dork. I don't really remember, but here's me and GRC annual. You can even make them bad about me too, so don't get it twisted. You can do whatever you want. It just has to be a powerful meme. I'll get to that in 1 second, William. I'll get to that in 1 second. If you follow me on this timeline journey I'm about to go through. Oh yeah, so anyway, start off by retweeting this tweet. You can look through all the memes. I'll show you one more. I'll show you my favorite one so far. Where's my Gene one? Yeah, that one's funny. I didn't. If I mute anyone, it's not on purpose. I just keep shit. I have to mute like everything because I can hardly see. There's GRC right there. Boom. More GRC memes. Lots of memes, crazy memes. The one with Gene's my favorite. And then the last thing we'll look at is, I mean, the pulse chain charts are down so bad, I don't even care. Shit's so bad. I've been telling everyone to run from that shit for like probably 4 weeks straight, about 150 times a day. You probably could have bought back double your position if you just kind of moved slowly. Memes. Pepe, Jock, GRC, Chia Network. Good stuff. This is what I wrote this morning. This is like part of my little stuff. I told you not to DCA at these levels. I told you Richard Hart was selling constantly. Now the public sees it, and they're starting to see it. Today, there's a lot of visibility on this kind of stuff right now. You are the exit liquidity, and he'll keep draining you. Yes, he will. He's not rich. He needs your money. He already got most of it, but he will take all that you give. Do not give. This was another $1 million that connected wallets got blah, blah, blah. And so, yeah, this is this kind of stuff. Here's a good one. Gene, when Gene's your spotter. GG's. Yeah, so there's that for now. So GRC we're slowly integrating. We're letting the people get in that want to get in. We're letting the community kind of, this is what I'm doing, letting people seep in, because like it's the people that seep in that you kind of want in. And then people buy and sell in lots of amounts, that's just trading, I guess. On Chia, it's a lot less dramatic. Like things don't change. There's not that many people there. And the tech is really good. So I've been really appreciative on having a place to go where I don't feel like it's a cesspool of complete garbage, like most of everything in crypto, including Ethereum to a large degree. Like I am not confident in Ethereum at this time. I do hold too much of Ethereum for my own liking at this time. I'm not really willing to part with it completely. And for privacy reasons too, like if you know anything about crypto, like you start transactions on one computer, and by 5 years later, you're down the line of like 100 different accounts. Anonymity is a lot about not doing transactions too. Like if you bought OTC Bitcoin from someone and sent them $100,000 wire, and they sent it to a fresh account that's never been used, that you have the keys to and everything, truth of the matter is like you're in a way better spot as someone who's just hodling a lot of stuff anyway. Some of your accounts, they get, once people get word of them, it's like, well, you might as well just do whatever you want on it because it doesn't make much of a difference anyway. But you have to have surface area in crypto. You need to have surface area. If you're using the same computer and account for everything, don't. I always tell people when I'm streaming, when I'm doing stuff, giveaways, it's from a similar group of accounts. And then I have accounts that I really do not want to move anything because they're sacred to me as far as anonymity is concerned, I guess. I didn't really put this all together until, it's a bit, once you get a little more involved in crypto, anonymity starts to really be important. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these privacy tools. And I want to know what you guys think about Ethereum. Like, I think Ethereum's waiting for Richard Hart to sell in a lot of these cancers. I think Richard Hart's a bigger problem in the Ethereum community than people realize. I think he's got too much ETH. I don't think they like it. And I think they can very easily pinch him out just by going sideways, because all he does is scam and use hype and use this. And when there is no hype and it's only him extracting, and it's only BankX who he gave all the stuff to extracting, and it's all these OTC deals just extracting, right? We all call it Richard because it is all Richard. Richard got everyone involved in this and then do backdoor deals for half of it. So you got to realize, like, a lot of pressure on Richard and has nothing to do with you making money. That I can promise you. Richard, #1 scam guy, #1 gooner guy. Let's go ahead and run this, dude. I'm excited to listen to this. I listened to like 20 minutes of it. It's Vitalik totally nerding out, totally looking like a crackhead. So it is the messaging is a little weird in that way. Like, he's not a very presentable individual. And if you didn't know him, you would probably think he was on copious amounts of methamphetamine, but which he might.
Will be first.
But that's not the point. The point is privacy tools, Ethereum. Do I think Ethereum will go up? Maybe. I'm not banking on it right this second. I think the markets are trying to shake out all these scammers, dude. The real scammers, like the DeFi scammers this time. Like, I really do think the market's trying to shake that out. And I do think that they will be successful. And I think once Richard Hart finally capitulates, Ethereum can go to all-time highs again. I think that big delta between Bitcoin and Ethereum is a lot to do with Richard Hart and similar entities that need to lose it all. Buy crypto once they lose it all. Buy crypto when people are crying. Buy crypto when people say it's over. All these people saying they're grateful for Richard Hart. Every time I see something that says grateful for Richard Hart, I just know 100 times more I'm not buying that shit because it's vapor. And if you're grateful for Richard Hart, you're mentally ill on the worst degree. This is our baby boy Vitalik for the day. Let's see what he's got to say. That's my take on Ethereum, bro. I'm a little worried, but I'm not selling my bags that I haven't moved. Yes, you do, bro. Crypto Hornet. I can make the case that Bitcoin energy transfers into Ethereum. The Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. We'll look into that. Gains Club, what's good, brother? All right, I'm going to drop the stream link. Go ahead and retweet the stream. And make sure you retweet the meme contest in Gains Club. I want to see a meme out of you. I want to see a single meme out of you. Do you hear me? Retweet the stream. Let's get studying a little bit. If you're working, put your earbuds on. Let's take a little ride. Let's take a little ride into Crazy Town.
Getting serious about privacy. And so we'll talk first a little bit about Ethereum, the approach that I've been thinking about in terms of how Ethereum can move forward on privacy, what kinds of things we should do, in what order, what kinds of things we should do that we have not been thinking about before so far, and what kinds of things we should not do. And then we'll be very happy to take and answer any kind of questions from you. So I think what we've seen so far is that Ethereum has led the way on privacy research and development in a lot of different ways, right? So Zcash, of course, was the first major production implementation of on-chain privacy, and I think systems on Ethereum were probably either the second or close to the second. So back in 2019, we had the EC mull and EC add and EC pairing opcodes that enabled all kinds of on-chain privacy solutions to start happening. And then we saw Tornado Cash, and Tornado Cash launched on Ethereum, and Ethereum was the chain where the entire arc of that very complicated story happened. By the way, free Roman Storm continues to need help. Then PSC, the privacy scaling explorations in the Ethereum Foundation, they have worked on many kinds of ZK snark protocols, a lot of low-level protocol related research, a lot of dev tooling related work, a lot of implementation level work. PSC has been a bedrock of a lot of like very bottom level tooling and ideas on zero knowledge proofs for scaling and zero knowledge proofs for privacy. Also, L2s have contributed a lot. So Aztec, in addition to releasing, I think, already multiple test versions, and I believe mainnet coming soon, has also been experimenting with a lot of very innovative ideas regarding privacy, but also things, lower level things like the Noir language, also the entire Plonk and Plookup category of algorithms. Also Intmax, fully ZK snark based plasma rollup hybrid. Nightfall from EY, championed by Paul Brody quite a bit. So Ethereum has been a home for a huge amount of valuable privacy related work, right? But the problem is that on real world value delivered to users, we are far behind where we could be. So if you use actually using a privacy protocols on Ethereum today, who here has used a privacy protocol on Ethereum in this month? Who here has used Railway, privacy pools, Tornado Cash? Something different from all three. Shout them out. Monero, okay. Pal, okay. Protesia, okay. Now, see, a lot of things are starting to happen, but what does using a privacy protocol today look like, right? So my experience is, so one, it requires you to have a separate seed phrase. And so you have this like totally separate thing that you have to worry about holding and not losing and not having stolen if you want to use your assets. That's one. Two is there's no multisig option. The only option is a single key option, which is like pretty scary for large amounts of funds. Three, it requires opening a separate wallet. So whenever you want to do a private send, you have to go and like open the thing, and then it like slowly starts loading. It goes from 0 to 100. You have to wait like 30 seconds. Four, you need a total of about 5 clicks to private send and withdraw. So I think when I use Railway, I count, click 1, open the Railway wallet, and then click 2, you have to click on unshield, which is like a different thing than send. And like the thing that I think of as sending is actually unshielding. Sometimes I click send and then I realize that's the wrong thing and I have to do a third click of clicking unshield, but anyway. 2, click on shield, then 3, click on generate proof, then you wait, then 4, click on choosing a public broadcaster, and then like when the proof is done, you usually like a 5th click to like actually start the whole process, right? So it's like much complicated just on a raw UX level than it could be. And also the public broadcaster mechanism, this is something common to Tornado Cash and Railway and any one of these systems that tries to actually be decentralized. These things are brittle, these things often break. These things, within the last 6 months, I've had situations where it just broke completely on one version and I had to switch versions. At some point it broke completely on one internet connection. I had to either turn a VPN on or turn a VPN off. So very far from perfect, and we can do better. So why now, right? Why do we want to really push for privacy now as opposed to pushing for privacy in, say, either 2021 or 2029, right? So I think, first of all, at the top of all this, privacy is important, right? Privacy is freedom, privacy is order, privacy is progress, privacy is a bedrock of a lot of things that we care about in this world. Privacy is not just an abstraction in the same way that something like decentralization or credible neutrality is. Privacy is a concrete benefit that is directly appealing to users. It's like you can understand what it means to transact privately, and transacting privately as opposed to transacting publicly is something that actually has meaningful differences in the kind of experience you will have during the transaction, but more importantly, after the transaction, right? Freedom of speech is easy, freedom after speech is the harder thing. Also, the technology is mature enough today. This was not true 4 years ago. And so today we can do it, and therefore we must. So the way that I think about privacy on Ethereum is I break it up into 3 categories. So I think of privacy of rights on-chain. So basically when you perform operations, things like sending, those operations happen on-chain. By default, everything you do on-chain creates a public link between every operation and every other operation. How do we do with these things without creating the on-chain public link? Then number 2, privacy of rights off-chain. In this case, how do you avoid leaking information when you're sending transactions, like basically all the parts other than the blockchain itself? And number 3, privacy of reads, right? When you read the chain, then reading the chain also reveals a lot of things about who you are and what you're doing, and how do we actually try to minimize that? So let's start with privacy of rights. 3 categories that I think we can focus on short term. 1 is funds transfers, 2 is DeFi, 3 is voting. These are like basic category of operations, and there are strong cases to have privacy for each of these. So private funds transfers, I think we all know about. Private DeFi, so Railway, for example, has private DeFi inside of it. Adding privacy to DeFi has a value in a lot of different ways. It's valuable for people not to know what your investments are, what your strategies are. It's valuable for people to not know what your liquidation price is. It's valuable for people to not know everything you're doing in real time so that they can front run you. There's all kinds of reasons why it's important to be private in DeFi in order to protect you. And also having private DeFi increases the amount of funds that people are willing to store in a private context, which in turn makes it more viable to make private transactions. Privacy in voting, also super important. Projects like Macy are moving forward, starting to actually get used more. Also, other forms of ZK voting already exist and are already increasing in their user friendliness and their integration. So without privacy, voting turns into a very toxic social game, and so we need to really make privacy in any kind of on-chain voting is a reality and the default. And then the holy grail, of course, is to have privacy of general computation. Privacy of general computation is hard for a bunch of reasons. One of those reasons is that general computation involves doing a VM, and VMs involve client-side proving, and client-side proving is even harder to make efficient than server-side proving. And another reason is that privacy in a general purpose way requires rethinking the software development model, because you don't just think about who owns what assets, you have to also think about who has access to what pieces of data. And things like what Aztec has been doing in terms of figuring out like Noir and figuring out their entire account and contract model, like it's actually a pretty intricate and challenging amount of work, but ultimately this is the holy grail. Privacy of rights off-chain. Okay, basically, yeah, this one's actually the easy one. So basically, yeah, the thing that matters here is send raw transaction as well as the various equivalents for ERC 4337 for intent-based transfers, like 7683 for like every type of send needs to be able to happen through a mixnet, so that when you do these operations, there is not a public link between your IP address and the transaction. We should not expect that the Ethereum network is private by default. We should expect that people who want to see things are going to run like 30% of the nodes in the network just so that they can see everything that's going on, and the demand for this to increase as on-chain data leakage decreases, and so we need to increase the amount of network layer privacy as well. Now, privacy of reads is something that I think we have not been talking about nearly enough, right? So who here has been using, raise your hands again, has used an on-chain privacy protocol this month? Who here thinks you were private? Okay, good. So basically, chances are you leaked everything about yourself to whatever RPC provider you're using. This is a problem, and this is a problem that can be fixed. So I see two tracks for solving this. So one of them is keeping the form factor of a small light client connecting to a large RPC server, but making that connection actually be private. So we've been thinking about making light client connections secure for a long time. I've been talking about Helios for a long time. Noah Synchron has been heroically working on Helios for a long time. What Helios does not do is it gives you light client security. It does not give you any kind of privacy. And actually, a lot of the time, the more harmful thing that an RPC can do to you is not feed you bad information, even though feeding you bad information can totally cause you to lose huge amounts of money in a DEX. Rather, it's stealing your information and then potentially selling it off and like potentially sending it out who knows where else. And so the idea here is basically we use cryptographic technologies in order to make it possible for people to ask RPC servers for information, get back responses without the RPC servers even knowing what they answered. So there's a short-term approach which uses trusted execution environments together with oblivious RAM, basically using like these trusted hardware-based security models to reduce the opportunities for data leakage. And ORAM basically makes the TEE problem easier because you don't have to worry about leaking memory access patterns. Instead, the thing that has to be private is basically just a much smaller thing that has like basically O of 1 memory in it. But then, of course, hardware-based security models are very imperfect, and there is a more holy grail-y solution, which is private information retrieval, PIR. So this thing has a lot of challenges in terms of efficiency, but the efficiency of PIR has been improving more and more with every passing year, and it is something that I think we actually can get to doing. So making hardened RPC nodes is one of these paths. The other one of these paths is making it easier and more practical for a user to run their own node, even as Ethereum L1 scales. So who here runs their own node or has run their own node in the last 12 months? Okay, someone shout out how many gigabytes it takes on your hard drive. A few hundred? Okay. Someone else shout out how many gigabytes do you have on your hard drive? Anyone shout out their number? I mean, mine is like 2048, but I got a fancy laptop to play around with self-hosted LLMs. Okay, who here has on the hard drive of their laptop more than 256 gigs of disk space? Raise your hand if you have more. Okay, more than 512. Okay, so actually see, now in the the EIP over 9,000, I forget the exact number, in the proposed EIP that specifies Ethereum node requirements, the expected amount of disk space is 4 terabytes. So who here has 4 terabytes? Okay, one hand is up. Great, now this is a problem, right? And so I think there actually is a pathway to make the node running requirements decrease massively. And that pathway basically is one, history expiry, make it so that nodes do not have to store history. And then if you even only do that, and then two is you do things like block level access list and ZK EVMs. And so you basically get verified blocks, and the only thing that you have to track is the state itself, and then you just get fed verified deltas to the state. You can apply the deltas directly. Then that can reduce, even today, a node's storage requirements to something like 50 to 80 gigabytes. So who here on their laptop has, let's say, at least 80 gigabytes of space? Who here has that on their phone? Okay, so we, like, with today's numbers, we can actually make state storing nodes pretty viable. Now, of course, the argument is, well, what happens if L1 scales by 10x? Then within a few years, we expect that to increase back to the hundreds of gigabytes. And so the solution here is partial state nodes, basically nodes that only store parts of the state, and we need to figure out some kind of way of like basically splitting apart parts of the state that are spam for parts of the state that are relevant to important applications, and then you as a user can store only those parts of the state, and if you make queries that touch only those parts, then nobody outside of you and your computer actually needs to find out anything about what reads you're making. So this is another piece of privacy of reads. A third piece of privacy of reads is identity and accounts, right? So who here has used ZK email? Anon, Har, any of the ZK wrappers? Okay. Who here has a world ID? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I hope the world goes to hell as well. Okay. Then, I mean, I had one and I lost it. Then, again, so, you know, hopefully their recovery, yeah. Well, now, who here has used ZK Passport? Okay. I mean, actually, I have two, right? So, one of the parts of this, right? So basically, what is identity used for, right? I think identity is an important piece in all kinds of different applications. It can be used to prove that you are the same person that previously did some action. It can be used to prove that you're not a robot. It can be used to prove that you are a member of some community. But at the same time, identity has all kinds of risks if it's done incorrectly. So single global identifiers are something that could be abused for deplatforming, especially if they're not implemented well. If you have a single global identifier, even if everything is done through nullifiers, you can still be coerced into revealing your nullifier. So a lot of challenges in getting into this whole space and doing it well. And I think this is something where like the world is moving forward into these kinds of things, and I think our community might be the most well-positioned to actually figure out a well-designed, privacy-friendly, and pluralistic form of identity, and reduce the chance that the thing that the world standardizes on is just terrible across multiple dimensions. Also, privacy of ID is something that directly comes into wallets themselves. So private account abstraction, right? So right now, to use Railway or to use privacy pools or any of these, you need to have one single key. Who here would feel comfortable trusting one single key with $1 million? Okay. $10 million. Okay. Let me ask the question another way. More than 10% of your assets. Okay, more than 50% of your assets. Okay, see, very few hands raised, right? And so basically, for privacy to be viable, we need the underlying accounts to actually be much more secure than single keys. So the most very basic thing you can do is, of course, multisig, right? But the real long-term thing that we can do is private account abstraction, right? Basically, whatever your normal account is, the account that you use to send normal transactions, in order to spend from private accounts that are ZK linked to that account, you have to provide a zero knowledge proof that you still control that account. And then on top of that, you have to reveal that you control some extra secret, and the point of that extra secret is just the privacy part. So if we do this, then we can make ZK accounts much more secure. We can basically enable much more secure and zero knowledge ways of revealing who you are, both to your on-chain account and to all kinds of other on-chain applications. And we can make this work seamlessly with your existing accounts on Ethereum. So next. Yeah, so this is kind of my general privacy mind map. There are other important things to think about here, right? So one of those things is when do we get into doing privacy on the L1? I think this is a topic worth exploring. I think the reason to not do this literally tomorrow is basically that if you implement that and there's a bug in the privacy mechanism, then someone can print infinite money and you won't even be able to tell. So it's like pretty scary in that sense. So personally, I think we should wait until our privacy stack is and our ZK stack is like formally verified, proven to a much greater extent. And ideally, we can do that for the ZK that we use to scale Ethereum and for the ZK that we use to make Ethereum private at the same time. Also, ZK snarks on their own are not enough for a lot of things. There are things that require FHE. There are, though even with FHE, you need to have like basically a multisig backdoor committee that reveals when things get decrypted, which is like scary in its own way. I mean, for me, the holy grail is obfuscation. Maybe we actually might get obfuscation in the not too long-term future. Maybe we'll see. And so there's things that are worth thinking about in terms of like the Ethereum of 2040 from that point of view. So I think it's a discussion that we should consider. My view on short-term things the L1 should do for privacy is basically that whatever we do in terms of L1 account abstraction and L1 fossil support should be designed with privacy protocols in mind. And I think that's like the basic bottom line that we should agree on in terms of what L1 does for privacy in the short and medium term, at least until we're confident enough in the cryptography to actually stick privacy features into the L1 directly. So, conclusion, basically, yeah, privacy on Ethereum is happening, and there are already things that are underway on each of the items that I talked about. And I think anyone who is here can actually help build out any part of that map, right? So basically, go back one slide. So if any one of these bubbles, like any one of these things are things that people in this room can go and contribute to. If you are someone who is good at hacking around Ethereum clients, you can go build a partial state node. If you're someone who is good at figuring out private account abstraction and some of the like challenges around like doing on-chain reads and doing the client-side proving, you can work on that. Working on client-side proving enables a lot of these, so client-side proving work is important. Privacy-preserving voting is important. Each and every one of these items here are potential hackathon projects and are potential long-term projects for people here to put a lot of effort and time in. So let's work together. Let's make the best privacy-preserving user experience on Ethereum possible. So thank you, and happy to take questions.
We will have a Q&A session for half an hour. Please raise your questions if you have the urgent questions now, please.
Yeah, I have a question. Like, I think one of the best ways to preserve privacy is to do local and private first. Mm-hmm. And like, do you know, like we have been working on off-chain protocol to turn every file into a hash tree, mm-hmm. which you can sign and attest, like timestamp and link it to other files as well. Mm-hmm. Is there something similar you already know, which has been established? Sorry,
what use case is this for?
For example, you have private data, like you have a self-issued identity claim, mm-hmm. and you want to attest it. between friends, for example. And then you can have additional signatures which attest to a key which has some form of public reputation. So you can issue your own identities off-chain, and you can use them to sign documents, for example.
I support this. I generally support a maximally off-chain approach, because maximally off-chain means minimum metadata leakage, and I think it should be as easy as possible to make proofs over on-chain state, and then combine that together with proofs over any kind of records that you have, and be able to prove things about yourself without the chain or third parties learning about it. I think so. I mean, yes, I think that's super valuable. I mean, I think in order to have like a proper integrated pipeline that delivers these kinds of things, I think the like ZK Ethereum ecosystem probably does need to be a couple of steps more mature. Like, it needs to be more viable to make a state proof of your own account. It needs to be more viable to just like make proofs that go into Ethereum state in general. But I'm sure these things will improve.
How would you explain what a nullifier is, and why can it be coerced easily?
Okay, so the way that the math works, right, is that you have a secret, and then using that secret, you can like think of it as you hash the secret +1, and then you get a public number, and then you hash the secret +2, and then you get your nullifier. And so what you do is if you have like some resource that can only be spent once, then when you receive the resource, you publish the first number. And then when you spend it, you publish the second number along with a proof that there exists some first number that someone published previously, where that like basically the same secret was used to generate both, right? And because the secret always stays private to you permanently, you're the only one that's able to make the proof. You're the only one that's ever able to actually know that link. And so what this means is that essentially, you're able to make a proof that says, I'm allowed to take this action because I have a resource of a particular type, and this proof at the same time, like the nullifier being published, basically prevents you from claiming the resource twice. So it prevents you from DOSing the system. Now, the issue with coercion is basically that like someone can always, if they see that there is any action and that action is connected to you, then, which they could find out like offline or through any other way, then they know that you are a user of this system, and they can force you to reveal your secret. And I mean, potentially they can like torture you or lock you up until you actually reveal the secret that maps to that nullifier. And then once you do that, then that also reveals your original leaf value, and then potentially that reveals your entire history, right? So these are the kinds of issues that like ZK by itself, and like especially ZK identity, because it creates this persistent object that you end up creating like many application-specific nullifiers from, right, needs to solve for, right? Because if you don't, then like someone can basically kind of force you to reveal your entire identity that you used to sign everything.
Do you have an opinion on the EIP 7503 wormholes? And do you think there's like plausible deniability in RPC possible?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, I saw there were some recent improvements to it. I mean, things like making it work off of receipts instead of state proofs, which I think really improves the simplicity, reduces code complexity, which is good. I think for me personally to feel comfortable with it, the main blocker is basically that like ZK technology needs to get mature enough. And like it needs to get to the point where we have really, really strong assurance that this kind of thing is not going to be broken, right? Because if someone breaks it, they can, like they actually can print basically an unlimited amount of money, right? Like because the size of the anonymity set, like it's not even the set of all like explicit depositors, it's basically the set of all people who have transferred ETH into accounts where it has not been spent from. And so it's someone could just like print tens of millions of ETH before we know what's going wrong, right? So like being really solid on security is like the big prerequisite for me. I mean, there's also like smaller things like, the fact like the 80 bytes kind of thing, and like the fact that even with the grinding, it only has 92 bits of collision security, which is like, I mean, it's like, you know, on the boundary of like being okay. I mean, I think if we're going to take time to be confident on security, we should also take time to like maybe figure out how to finally move away from 20 byte addresses. So I think like some like, security related things need to be figured out. I mean, personally, yeah, if the security related things were already solved, like I would totally love it and like want it to be in ASAP. But I mean, and I think it will take time, and at some point we'll get to the point where we're comfortable with things like that.
You mentioned that you want to see our privacy tech stack formally verified. Obviously, formal verification comes in many formats. Can you talk just to what you would like to see under what paradigm to give you the confidence in the tech stack?
Yeah, so I mean, one analogy is like the way that we're approaching formal verification of the ZK EVM, right? And there's two aspects to it. One is formally verifying the arithmetization. So basically, this creates a machine verifiable proof of the mathematical statement that if you have a valid witness, like valid polynomial values for these polynomials, then that means that you have a valid execution of the underlying VM. That's like, and some implementation of that in Lean where the like final state is some particular value, right? And then on top of that, you can even prove other statements. So like, for example, there are some ZK VMs that have already proven a property called determinism, which basically means that the ZK EVM accepts exactly one post-state root. And so that's powerful because it means that like there aren't bugs that allow an attacker to just prove anything. So once you have, and then another part of the proof is like actually proving the kind of correctness of the proof systems themselves, right? And like that's something that I think we've gone into less because we're still in the arc of optimizing the proof systems, but at some point we need to start doing that. So that's the basic thing. Then similar types of things can be done for client-side proving, right? And so we can, like potentially, you can even convert statements like if you put one coin into Railway, then you can take one coin out into a mathematical statement that you can actually verify end to end, right? Or you can do similar things to virtual machine execution, right? So if we do things like that, then like we can get more comfortable with the actual safety of all of this zero knowledge machinery that in the future millions of ETH will be dependent on.
Do you agree with the Ethereum community's reaction to the ban of TIMECODES some years ago? And if not, how do you prevent it in the future?
I mean, to you, what was the Ethereum community's reaction to the Ethereum cash ban?
So I thought that many node runners started to censor transactions, and also I don't know if there was public support for developers to cash and they got to jail.
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, there was definitely a scare back in about 2022 to 2023 regarding block builder censorship, right? And this is like an intersection of the privacy legal issues and the whole like builder centralization problem. So my view on the builder centralization problem right now is that like we need Fossil as a way of mitigating it. Like basically what Fossil does is it creates 16 different actors per slot who have the power to force any particular transaction to get included inside of that slot. And so we get like very strong censorship resistance even if the entire block building market gets monopolized by one actor. Like not saying we should let that happen, right? But even if as a second layer of defense. I know there are people who are working on multi-party block building technologies, like basically market designs where blocks get built through the collaboration of multiple actors by default. And if that happens, that also helps kind of decrease the risk of single block builder dominance. So I think to me like that's strategy 2, and strategy 3 is like I think we should at least explore some kind encrypted mempool ideas in parallel. So like to me those are the top 3, and I think if privacy is going to be first class importance for Ethereum, I think it should be, then like we need to have multiple paths toward continuing to make sure that we have it, right? And also, I mean, in general, I think like these things should be the responsibility of L1, right? I think we should not require individual, like like identified actors, including builders or even including application developers, to be virtuous, right? And so we should really ensure censorship resistance of the L1, and also we should do a version of account abstraction that is friendly to privacy protocols. So 7701, for example, does this. And so that way, privacy pools and Railway and Sternito Cache will be able to get rid fully of the public broadcaster dependency.
Hey, so my question is, you showed a slide with a lot of things that could be parallelized, the reads, the writes, etc. So were those use cases what you had in mind when Ethereum came out with Whisper? And if so, because you also said that offchain is good because it doesn't leak as much metadata. Is there a strong case for the adoption of offchain peer-to-peer, like I'm going to say Waku, like Waku? Would Waku make sense for a bunch of those?
Yes, so I think like Whisper and like Waku is a successor to Whisper, so Waku is very important work, and I know it's already starting to be used in messengers. These things are good. I think Waku actually is one of the things that we should explore for the privacy-preserving send RPC transaction use case. I do think that like Waku type things are insufficient in a couple of ways, and so like I think maybe 1 or 2 years ago the vision for how privacy would happen is basically you would have things like the Porto network, and so which would not just cover history, it would also cover state. And if you want to make a state read, then you would ask the peer-to-peer network and you connect to it through Waku, and then it would give you back a Merkle branch, right? The reason why I think this is insufficient is that I think anonymization is not enough, right? Basically, if you think about it, like let's say I do a Railway withdrawal and I withdraw into account X, right? And then right before I do this, there is in the network a query that goes to account X and also a query that goes to account Y, right? Then what's actually happened is, well, there is information that is out there in the public that linked X to Y. It actually doesn't even matter that theoretically X and Y might have been maps to different nodes, right? Because like even just those two accesses happening at the same time is still enough information to like probabilistically narrow that user down to a very small number of participants, right? So like I think for that reason, we don't just need anonymization, like we actually need a mechanism that allows users to do reads without those the content of the read, like the index or the address that you're reading, being exposed to anyone except for the user themselves. So I view those two technologies as being highly complementary for the Ethereum use case. Like I think for the sending transaction aspect, like mixed-net type things, which includes Tor and I2P, which can also include Waku, is indispensable.
Also to talk about Waku again. Back in 2021, I built a messaging app that was on Waku. And one of the interesting things is that because the node was running in the browser, I didn't have to require the user to do some operation to actually run a node. So what do you think about, because I'm running also an Ethereum node archive, so I write my own Explorer, have my own RPC, which is supposed to be private. But we have learned that people don't want to run their own node, so is there any way we could have something similar that says, in order to access the service, you have to, even without knowing it, run a node?
I mean, the challenge with the without knowing it part is that even a partial state node is going to take tens of gigabytes, and you can't like ask people to download tens of gigabytes in the background without telling them, because like at the very least it's going to like destroy a bunch of people's phone plans, right? So I think anything that is like seamless and fully in the background is something that realistically is just going to require some kind of like a light client-based approach. Now, what you could do potentially is you could have like an even more radical partial state node, like a node that only stores the state of like say a privacy protocol and nothing else, and so it's obvious to the network that you're a user of the privacy protocol, but they don't see anything else, right? And that's interesting. So that would be like one thing that I think is important to keep in mind. But I mean, in general, I mean, the other challenge, of course, of this kind of run a node without the user even knowing it is basically that then, like, if the ecosystem standardizes too much over that, then, like, users don't become aware of, like, what security guarantees they have. So the type of approach that I would favor is like a type of approach where, like, this is related to the whole problem of embedded wallets in general, right? Where, like, if you use an application with an embedded wallet, then by default, the embedded wallet does its thing. But also, if it detects that you have a browser wallet, then it automatically switches over to the browser wallet, and then the browser wallet can run the checks itself and give you a guarantee that you're being secure, even if like the DApp interface has been hacked.
I was wondering about governance and privacy. I know you mentioned the on-chain voting as well as the fund transfers and kind of the important privacy elements there. Are there any other specific use cases around governance that get you excited and where you think it's crucial to enable privacy?
I mean, I think for me, like, governance is, it's like often one part voting and two parts communication, right? And so having privacy-preserving comms and having privacy-preserving comms with the level of UX quality that people are willing to actually adopt it and default to it is something that's very valuable. So, I mean, Signal, I think, has done quite a good job, but also, like, Signal definitely lags behind other apps on at least some dimensions. I mean, I know increasingly I've been seeing people migrating to Mattermost, which is like self-hosted over Slack, though, which is, like, I think fine for the context of an organization. For the context of something more diffuse like a DAO, like, you probably want people to be able to communicate in a way where the trust guarantee doesn't even depend on the operator. So having, like, something stronger and sort of even more cypherpunkish would actually help a lot. So that's one. And then for the voting part, I mean, I think like basically every part of a governance process should be ZK'd, right? And then, like, basically the principle is sort of only necessary transparency, right? So the rules of the game have to be transparent and have to be very clear to everyone. But in the context of the actions, like, only the contents of the action that need to be public would be the contents of the action that actually get made public. Like, we can think about that as a starting principle, and apply that across all the different regular DAO voting, quadratic funding, sortation, like any kind of designs. I mean, actually, sortation is interesting also, right? Because like, you should be able to, like, you should have ZK sortation where nobody else knows if you've been chosen, right? Because if you have been chosen, that's like a very easy coercion vector, right? So, I think, like we need to think, like, privacy first across all of these things.
Is there any work on reintroducing interfaces to allow for encryption decryption keys, which might be derived from a root key via a standardized API?
Interfaces, allowing interfaces. So is this like the equivalent of what MetaMask did back in the day with giving you, like, an encryption? Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good idea. I think this needs to be, like, this is actually not too far from some ERCs that have already been made. Like, I think 5564 is the ERC for stealth addresses, and stealth addresses implicitly depend on a public key encryption technology, right? So if you generalize that only a little bit, then you can basically have a system where each account can publicly show, like, what its encryption key is, and then you'd be able to do encrypts to an account, and I think that would be super valuable.
Maybe as a follow-up, it would also be super cool to set a small defined restricted payload, which can be decrypted. Right? We don't need to make it big, like a very small interface, very clearly defined. Just send something in for encryption decryption.
Oh, I see. So you mean like the equivalent of a Zcash memo field? Yeah, I would support that.
Is Railgun ever going to lower their 0.25% fee? Do you know?
I mean, that's a question for them. I think, I mean, realistically, for higher levels of adoption, at some point they will have to. But no, I think this is their choice.
There's lots of
you would see that
private projects like TIMECODES will help to onboard corporations. How do you see the synergy between B2B?
I have one comment, one singular comment. Best web developers in the world. Why can't we get some best audio in the world? What? Aren't they number one dev guys? Number one computer guys? Number one tooling guys? I can't even read the subtitles. They're so small. And I can't hear what this bloke is saying. So, Vitalik, come on now. This looks like a little dungeon, a little meth dungeon. It's a gooner dungeon. I can see RH down here in a big way gooning. What?
Privacy and sort of like human privacy. And where are the disconnects between?
So I think they share a lot on technology, right? And like enterprise privacy projects and like kind of look, these sort of grassroots Ethereum ecosystem privacy projects have contributed to the same code on many occasions. Many of them are forks of each other. There's a lot of implicit collaboration at the tech level. Often, one thing that's happened in practice so far is that the B2B privacy use cases, they've decided that for their compliance needs, they have to have some kind of backdoor. Whereas I think for these kind of more consumer-oriented privacy protocols, like there's been a strong standard of them being backdoor free. And I mean, like, so things like privacy pools and Railgun that basically allow people to like publicly say, I am not like one of these depositors, like that's fine, right? But the thing that's not fine is a system where your privacy can retroactively be rug pulled, right? Like if you think you're private, you should stay private. And this kind of guarantee is incompatible with the kind of approach that B2B has been taken and like the B2B protocols compliance needs. So that's like probably the biggest disconnects that we've seen so far. I mean, my personal dream is, of course, that over time kind of norms keeps changing and the compliance needs on even the B2B side will start shifting toward more like a kind of privacy pools and Railgun style selective disclosure approach. But that's something that, of course, will continue taking time. But no, I mean, in general, I do see those ecosystems as being very collaborative, just because even if they make different decisions, they use like 90% of the same code.
For radical privacy, what is privacy endgame?
I mean, to me, privacy endgame is basically that like you should be able to have your digital life without revealing information to other people that you do not want to reveal or that you do not know you're revealing. So that's, I mean, like I think privacy is also valuable in physical space, and like I definitely do not appreciate all of the people that just like randomly, like photo me and then put me up on crypto Twitter, and then there's like people talking about like, oh, like this is what Vitalik is doing now, but. Unfortunately, those kinds of problems are kind of outside of our area of expertise to solve. No, I think like the domains that I think will matter over the next two decades, right? I think are like especially as physical privacy keeps decreasing, digital privacy needs to keep increasing to compensate, and this involves privacy of communications, this involves privacy of funds transfers, this involves privacy of governance operations, and ultimately, like those three things, they're not entirely separate categories, they're a continuum, right? Any funds transfer is at least in part a communication, and like any communication is at least in part a governance operation, right? But then other categories that will pop up, privacy of AI. So an AI is like increasingly becoming a sort of a second brain, and ChatGPT seeing all of that is something that should not happen. Who here has a local LLM installed on their devices now? You should. Who here has bought some kind of computer or GPU specifically to be able to run better local LLMs? Okay. One thing that you can do, by the way, that's like actually economically optimal is buy something powerful, but share it between you and a group of your friends, right? So like, for example, like if you look at a Mac Studio, with top end specs, like the cost does go to the crazy side. It's $12,000, but the property that LLM use has is basically you're only actually using it like 1% of the time, right? And a full-size Mac Studio is actually powerful enough to run full-size DeepSeek at a very good speed. And so one thing you could do is, you could basically take one such device and basically give, yourself and a few or a dozen or a few dozen people that you reasonably trust access to it, right? So there's a lot, I think more experimentation with kind of local LLMs and even kind of going up to the larger models is a good thing. Basically because, the AI is going to become more and more a part of your thought. We're also going to start getting BCIs very soon, brain-computer interfaces, and so privacy of BCIs is literally privacy of your mind. Basically, privacy will go down a lot if we're not careful, and if we are careful and if we do the right thing, we can keep it at a similar level or even increased. And I think this is a very valuable project to push for.
Can you share the perception of cypherpunk within 2 years? Because the first year, once you published the article, and I'm just taking a DevCon talk, only Peter was talking when Center was the only one talking about the cypherpunk. Then some B2B companies were exploring how they can talk about this, but the legal would allow them to talk about. And what's the state of this cultural shift and change within the
Yeah, I mean, I think in general, kind of for the world, this is actually a very good political moment to start talking about cypherpunk and privacy topics more openly. And I think this is actually true for a couple of reasons, right? One of those reasons is that the global political environment is much more unfriendly than it was, more than 2 years ago, definitely more than 4 years ago, and like way more than 10 years ago. And so the idea that, you can just go run one of these centralized things and it's run by like nice idealistic tech people and like they're definitely not going to do anything bad or get captured by people who will make them do anything bad is just like more obviously completely false. And this is not something that like grassroots rebels care about. This is something that institutions care about. This is something that governments care about, right? And so that's like one thing, right? Basically, in this kind of like much less friendly and much more unstable environment, having more sovereignty over your own data at an individual level and at a group and community level is more important. And the other thing is that like there are people who have talked about the current era as being an era where you can just do things. And sometimes, of course, this is bad because just doing things sometimes involves just shooting missiles. But at the same time, from an individual point of view, like, you can just do things does mean, you can just go and make privacy protocols. You can just go and send people $10,000 without telling anyone. And like, you can just like really go much further in asserting your digital rights than people were comfortable with a few years ago, right? And so I think there's like basically from both of those angles, right? Like the need has increased and the opportunity has increased, and supporting kind of personal and local community security and seeing privacy as being a core part of that security is something that is, I think, very important to, both talk about and make a reality right now.
Since it's very important for you to keep your thoughts private and you're in a local LLM, how do you deal with your location privacy?
Yeah, currently not well, and currently, like I do not claim to have good solutions, right? And one of the challenges here, right, is that like even if you do, like burner phones and literally rotate them every month, like even a month of data is totally enough to uniquely fingerprint and identify you. So it's a hard problem, I think. If you want to like really go further out on location privacy, then like we will have to figure out kind of lifestyle alternatives to having your internet constantly with you on the go that provide something close to that level of quality. And like that basically means much more accessible mesh networks. That might even mean kind of more piratey stuff, like something that automatically connects to Wi-Fi networks and automatically does the click through and like, like goes through passwords or whatever. Basically, generally, you need an alternative, some kind of alternative to that for connectivity is probably the number one thing. But then even kind of beyond beyond that, right, the other thing is just like the ease of in-person surveillance and just all of the cameras that are everywhere, right? And the more realistic thing to do is to just kind of continue to fight for laws that kind of restrict those kinds of things and put controls on them, right? Because like obviously, like people can get around them, but like every single one of those things does push the people creating the cameras to be more careful and to kind of not be as brazen in data collection or in letting the data get leaked. But going further beyond that, like I definitely admit it's a challenge.
What's your opinion on how privacy projects can reach product market fit? Because we're talking with folks at the scene, and only barely a few, for example, for Railgun, it took 3 years to hit the break-even, and barely any self-funded project of 2 or 3 people can reach this state. For Rodkey, it's based on the personality of let's say, and there's not many people like him. So how would you suggest privacy builders go post-hackathon in their way to find that product?
I think we should learn a lot from Signal, right? Signal is like the one reasonably cypherpunk project that like actually has gotten a huge amount of adoption to the point where famously even the U.S. government uses it. So that's Bitcoin. Well, Bitcoin. I would not call Bitcoin a privacy project, right? So I think. Look, we should and I think from my point of view, what succeeded with Signal is it actually does have a good enough UX that it's a kind of maybe 80 to 90% capable drop-in Skype or Telegram replacement, and then that's good enough to the point where basically you have these spikes of adoption that happen, Snowden revelations, and then the whole Pavel Durov situation last year, and basically every time this happens, more and more people become interested. But in order for that to happen, your project has to be ready for it, right? And so to me, one of the learnings is basically just improve UX, right? Though, at the same time, where even Signal is, it's definitely not strong enough on the metadata privacy, and so we do need to keep pushing harder there.
We just have a few minutes. We'll run a hackathon, we present lots of ideas, and usually developers, when they do hackathons, sometimes they overscope what's possible within 3 days. What will be the low-hanging fruit in terms of dev hours spending to reach a certain privacy?
Okay. So if you want to work on, for example, PIR, then one simple thing is instead of focusing on state, you focus on history. And the easy problem that you do is basically that the input is a log topic and the output is, and basically the client asks the server, give me the one log in the previous block that that has that log topic, and then the server like scans over all of the logs in just that one block. So that's like a set of size 100 to like maybe between 100 and 1,000, and then replies back with that. Like if you just have that, like that already is the seed of privacy preserving history query. And like that's a thing that, I mean, I think especially in the GPT era, lots of people here are very able to go and vibe code. Well, or hopefully the, like locally running DeepSeek like 0525 or like whatever the most recent one era. So then if, we're talking about like ease of use, then like build a wallet that like creates a one-click experience for privacy pools or railway operations. Then, if we're talking about like ZK voting, like actually fork one of the some like DAO like governance framework and like basically like rip out the backends and make it private and otherwise make it look as close to identical as possible, right? So like I think that's kind of roughly the bite-sized chunk you'd want to do for the hackathon.
Let's go to the last one.
What are your thoughts about whistleblowing rights and how they intersect with privacy data?
Yeah, I mean, in general, I think whistleblowing is absolutely important. I mean, I'm generally a big believer of Julian Assange's maxim of privacy for the weak and transparency for the powerful. And I generally think that like actively forcing powerful organizations, including companies, including governments, to be more open than they otherwise would be is like actually one of the more important counterforces to reduce the risk of like some kind of single actor dominating the world in some irreversible way in the future. So to me, whistleblowing is definitely an important part of that. I think one area where ZK Tech would help is it can actually make whistleblowing credible, right? Because not only can you reveal information, but you can reveal information attached to a zero knowledge proof of the truth of that information.
What do you think about ZKTLS for it?
Yeah, ZKTLS is good. Yeah, you should use it.
Okay. Thanks, Vitalik, for
yes,
coming.
Thank you too.
Interesting stuff, kind of. Privacy is important. Privacy is also kind of a myth. Bitcoin, it was funny that he said Bitcoin is nothing about Bitcoin is private. That's the worst part about Bitcoin, dude. I'm starting to realize that, and again, this is my journey into crypto. So I'm not here to tell you I'm a billionaire. I'm not here to tell you I'm a millionaire. I'm not here to tell you that everything I do is fucking untouchable, because that's not the truth for anyone. Look at Vitalik has 6-year roadmaps. He's probably the smartest dad, and Solidity, obviously, blah, 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 blah. So a couple things here. One, Vitalik is a weird dude, which I do care when people are weird. Like, I'm kind of famous for calling Richard Hart a Max Gooner. He's gooning constant. It's taking everyone's money. And, Vitalik is like a bit of a more respectable gooner. Probably more effort per day by a 100x than Richard Hart, but gooner nonetheless. And these gooners move different, brother. The one thing I'm learning about in crypto, these gooners move different. Gooners don't play by the rules. And when I say gooner, I mean a dude that sits at his computer all day and at the end of the night inevitably gets locked into a gooning black hole. And then he goes back on whatever privacy app he was on to make more fake transactions for a coin that he minted 1,000,000% of and has all the validators and all of this stuff, right? So it's all coming to this merge. I'm starting not to trust Ethereum at all, even though I hold a lot of it and it's annoying me a lot. Although when I was questioning this stuff last time, the price was a lot lower. So it's moved up since then. I think this is like, privacy is not a thing. Like, yeah, for serial scammers like that study privacy all day, sure. Maybe 10 years from now, privacy will be a thing. But if you own Bitcoin, it's not private. If you've done any transactions, it's not private. It's not private, and people know when, where, why, and how. And it's not hard to figure out if you pay attention to this stuff all the time. It's just like anything. It's like reading a book. Oh, how did you learn how to read that book? Oh, I don't know. I just read a lot of books and they taught me it. That's it. This is, the tech bros would love you to get psyched out and think this is all over your head, so you kind of just don't participate. But the truth is, it's the same old shit as everything. Humans do need privacy, and privacy is a right. And so we have to, but what other rights are being infringed on, right? Crypto needs regulation so bad, so bad. No, crypto needs nothing more than regulation. People need to be able to use this stuff. Businesses need to be able to use this stuff in an anonymous way too, for businesses, of course. So this is all just like madness, dude. This is madness, dude. But that was a good, I mean, on the chill side, that was super chill. Super chill is I didn't have to do anything and I could listen, and there is good information in there. It's a lot of theory, like we'll call most of it theory. Obviously they're working on stuff, but it's theory that other people won't be able to track you, and that there's not already tools that you'll never learn about. You always have to think ahead of these guys because they think ahead of you. Period. End of story. Let's go through the Twitter feed real quick. We got 375 in here. If you're in the YouTube chat, drop a bicep in the chat. Let me know you're here. I just want to see a bicep. The privacy stuff is interesting. And personal note, like, dude, I regret half the shit I did in crypto, bro. SEC, anyone, you understand? Listen to me. When people first get into crypto, first of all, there's no financial education in the United States in high school. And then we all get jobs and start working. And then we all want to learn how to invest. And there's no one to teach us about tax loopholes, you assholes. We have to learn it all ourselves. So if they ever come at me about transactions I did in the past with privacy or whatever, anything, I will make it my life's mission to freaking just be pissed, because it's just dumb. Like we have to be reasonable here. So we're coming into this time in crypto where a lot of us have been here for a long time and done things that we didn't even know what we were doing, right? I got an SEC subpoena. Do you understand what that means? They went for the rat. I never accepted $1 from anyone for anything except giveaways, super chats, all the legal infrastructure. I just stayed in the rule book. You know, I mean, if someone was giving me money to give a direct giveaway for a contest, of course, but that's just a donation. So privacy is important, but privacy is also a scam for a lot of guys. Like Richard Hart has been talking about privacy shit for so long. He knows all the tricks, and that's why he can still be on the run while doing whatever he's doing. Like he can run around the world and take all your money. The narratives for Richard Hart are already getting, like, people are starting to realize he's not going to pump their bags. People have finally realized that. They are realizing that he has been selling the entire time and always has when it's opportune for him and not noticeable. And the surface area is so important. We always talk about surface area, right? How many accounts do you have? Vitalik brought it up right in the beginning of the conversation. Do you have 50 accounts, 10 of those being 100% dormant? Or do you have 2 accounts? Do you have accounts that you don't even look at? that you haven't done swaps or sends or trades, just one receive, that's surface area. He kept saying, who would feel comfortable with $1 million in one account? And I'm sure all the guys said, not me, because I would be tweaking out if I had all my money in one basket like that, especially in crypto, because there's guys, there's sharks, there's human attention. People will come for you. And if not, they'll find some messaging in order, like Richard, like we'll get you to swap that shit for HEX and then go down 700% and still brag to everyone that he's smart. Which are not smart guy. Richard pretends smart guy. All right. Oops. So let me pull up my Twitter, guys. If you're in here, seriously, smash the like button. It's not the hottest time in crypto right now. Everyone's very confused. Everyone is very, 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 very confused. And including me. I mean, I'm not worried. I just don't care that much about the price action, but it's a weird time in the world, I guess that's to say. So we just watched privacy in Ethereum. I'll keep you up to date on everything that's been going on with me. If you like my message and you appreciate my content, I need you to subscribe and retweet all my RH stuff because it's catching on like a wildfire in Las Vegas. I mean, LA, the last one. It's catching when people are getting very questioning. Richard finally, after 5 years, dude's a down-only gooner guy. Down-only gooner guy. Take all your money guy. So this is the meme contest, guys. If you don't know about the meme contest, it's free to play. Nothing, you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is right here, right here, right here. GRC meme contest. I like pictures. I like art. I like storytelling, and I want to learn how to be better at it. So we're going at this stuff. We're learning. Everyone's joining. The more pictures, the better. If everyone has more pictures of funny stuff, life is always better. So you got to understand. GRC meme contest. Got memes, got muscle. It's time to flex both. Welcome to the official GRC meme battle. Make the gym laugh or cry or both. 100K GRC to the first place winner. That's probably like 180 at the top. But people have been selling off the first real sell-off of GRC, so it's been fun to watch. The cool thing about Chia is the downward price action is a lot less dramatic than it is over on Ethereum's, not because of the math, but because of the users. Mainly. So it's much more enjoyable to watch a price chart kind of do its thing. Contest ends July 4th. I think GRC is like 11 or 12 days old now. Dude, what's good? Good to see you, dude. Richard Hart, #1 Gooner guy. Right? How to enter. So again, you don't have to pay anything. You don't have to do anything other than drop a fat meme. Like and retweet this post right here. Bookmark it. Look, we got action, guys. Look, 46 retweets, dude. Let's go. People love memes, dude. I love memes. All right, so quick understand that. You get involved in meme contests. You have to tag GRC, wrap GRC, in the ticker, tag Jimrat Crypto. I wrote that wrong. Idiot. Let the strongest memes win. RH memes get bonus points. No spotters, no excuses. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? We have a new theme song for the show, too. I want to know if you think it's a banger. If you think it's a banger, I need to know. That's of utmost important. Look at this. Yeah, to save that real quick. Okay. So we'll go to xch.trade real quick. I'm pretty much, I'm taking a little break from, I have Ethereum, but I'm taking a little break from any Ethereum forks right now, dude. It's so brutal. Pulse chain's so brutal to the downside. Horrible chart, worst chart in crypto. Hex so brutal to the downside. A lot of these alts are just so brutal to the downside when things are going sideways. And I've made money on this stuff before, so I ain't worried about it. Everyone's like, oh, you're gonna miss the God candle. Shut up, Richard, dude. You fucking God candle, you fucking fat dork. That's such a fucking manipulative thing to say, too. Like, all you do is God red candles, like God dog dick candles. Okay. So that's the meme contest. Go ahead and follow me up there. And then a couple things going on today. Let's look. We're not doing any perma shilling, but we'll look. And I'll go to xch.trade in a minute. That's where I've been spending most of my time, to be honest. That's where GRC coin is. It's also on base. Liquidity pools are very thin, though. So I like the experience so far over on XCH because there's liquidity. But here we go. Today, Alex and I were supposed to do a show, but she got sick, so we rescheduled it this weekend. I still have to triple check my schedule before I tell her, but she's doing a space today. So if you don't know this girl, she's smarter than you. And yes, she was late, and yes, she did tell me, and yes, I got mad for like 2 seconds, and yes, I'm over it now. Okay? It's called human life. But go ahead and if you're not following Alex, she's a good she's doing a space later. All right, so this whole idea, like why am I on Chia, right? It's an idea that people keep asking me because they don't really know, because they haven't caught up with the information yet. But I'll show you why. So the Chia community is really coming at this idea and implementing this idea of, I'm sorry, stocks on the blockchain, right? So we all know, if you look at the US market right here, and this is DGen Waffle, absolute goat, side-by-side comparison, because they're talking about Robinhood and US investors and things on it, blah, blah, blah. They're talking about all the, everyone right now is talking about stocks on the blockchain, but the truth is the United States has all that money though. So like more than 50% of the average daily volume of these stonks, the stonk market, U.S. investors. You know what that means? Whoever gets the cheese gets the U.S. investors. Okay? We want the U.S. investors in the projects that we're in, right? Right. So we want it to be legally compliant, right? Right. We don't want to hide in Russia for the rest of our lives being perma-gooners and not seeing our families. Right. Okay. All right. So as long as we're all on the same page there, nobody wants to do that. That sucks. Hiding from the law in perma-gooning, not cool. Not fun. Nothing good about that. All right. So XCH is the native asset of the Chia network, proof of time and space consensus model, the most diverse node count that exists. I don't care about Bitcoin. I don't care about ETH's fucking proof of stake. I'm telling you, diverse as far as real people all around the world. You can look up stuff. I'll show you all the websites. You can do your own research. But the reason I like it so much is because people aren't, as a meme coin guy, or like someone who likes to, I consider HACKS and all alts like a meme coin, basically, right? Like they're all meme coins, and we buy them, and it's a part of crypto. And guess what? These are all untapped. As far as I'm not saying any one in particular either. Like they're just new. Like you can still get whale positions and stuff like this for like $500, $200, $100. So that just means there's not that many people there yet, and there's not some evil person that is just trying to extract every possible dollar. People extract money from things, of course. Richard would say he doesn't because he's a billionaire, but he's a fat fucking gooning liar 24/7 his entire life. So the point is, like, there's green over here at 20%, 15%, 46%. You know, these are just active communities that are going at it. And you can get into stuff like this before 40,000 people know about it. When they are, the highest market cap meme coin over here is Bepe, 513,000 market cap. That's like, but it's actually more real dollars, I feel like, as far as participation is concerned. Like, I understand that the algorithm to make the chart go up is the same. But what I'm saying is 513K market cap, that's the highest. No, it's not. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Highest market cap is 513,000 US dollars. Second, Versace Ferrari, ticker Chia, 323. And then obviously, we did take liquidity quick over here because if somebody's going to buy into something, I understand things go up and down and people sell and people buy, but you can liquidity manage off the jump to kind of keep things in a range that people just can't get swallowed. Like, people have to buy up the supply and then sell it. The way Richard Hart did it is that he gave the supply to everyone. Everyone had infinite amounts of the shitcoin that minted from. Instead of just letting it be available on the market and letting it be a thing and letting people find out about it, he had to go to Miami and twerk in front of 50,000 live viewers at the top and tell everyone that he would get his best friends and family involved in this shit. And he was lying the whole time. It was all a lie. So that's why we migrated over to the Shia network. I'm not too confident in Ethereum right now. I think Bitcoin sucks. Truthfully, I don't think of it as just a financial asset as much as maybe some other people do, and I probably should. But the truth is, it's slow. It's not anonymous. Nobody uses it on chain. I mean, what do you want me to say? Yeah, you have to burn more fucking batteries to fucking make more of it? That sounds stupid. Like, but it wasn't stupid at the time, obviously. And scaling is an interesting thing because it's kind of abstract. Scaling in crypto and scaling in general is like an abstract compounding feature. Like, so whatever. So basically we come to this point, right? And I'm just going to be honest about all this stuff. So fuck it. I did not launch the token and I did not add that first liquidity pool. That was the legendary Tom Bepe. But the truth is, this first candle was pretty much people that got in right off the bat, offer files for a certain amount of money to set the floor price. Then you can add liquidity. Then the first amount of whales sell. And then the people that just were thinking about sticking around are sticking around anyway. And then it goes up 500%. And then it goes down again to the last resistance that, 30% of people shake out. And then it goes down or up from here, but it's just kind of whichever way. If there's any adoption, when things are new, there's not that much sell pressure, and there shouldn't be. It wouldn't make sense if there was. Now, we had a viable liquidity here, so people were willing to sell. Hold on. But it's... So just every chart's going to be different. Like we could have put no liquidity in this and just sent it up 27,000%, but that's stupid. It's pointless. You want a pretty chart? I like pretty charts. Like it doesn't have to be the most volatile thing that's ever existed in mankind, right? And then you can have a fair amount of liquidity in there for people that actually bought in to get in and out. That has nothing to do with the token or anything itself. That's just common. And I know nobody really does things fair because of all these fucking scams and lies. And nothing's 100% fair, but god damn it, you can make things kind of fair. You can make things available. You can make things giving giveaways and trying to do the best to like distribute it to people that maybe need it, and giveaways to people that are grinding on memes, and crypto fitness challenges that reward you for posting your daily workouts in the Discord. Guys, if you are not in my Telegram and have gotten in the Discord yet, you're making a large mistake. I'm telling you, these things take a while to learn. Go ahead and learn them. Learn about the Chia network as a whole. I'll show you another site that Chia used. So this is xch.trade. So, and if you go here, just so you know, I'm allowed to show mechanics. If you go to xch.trade, there's an action button. So just like Uniswap on Ethereum has, well, you can look at Space Scan. So this will be the scanner. So if you look it up on Space Scan, just all the same stuff. If you look it up on Space Scan, you'll see the metrics, 55 million total supply. That's not changing. A certain amount of the LP was burnt. That's not going to be shown here, but the liquidity pool can't be pulled out, that initial. There's 260 holders. There was 250 yesterday. That doesn't sound like horrible scam, like I'm trying to spend all waking day trying to get people in here. I want people to trickle in. Total transactions, 3,113. Market cap, 55K. You know, so it's not as much like, you can fake things out and make them unfair, or you can try to be transparent as best as you can. Right? You can try to be transparent as best as you can. And then you can make incentives for people to stay later. So the believers have some, you know, like, oh, I stayed in. And then they did the fitness challenge. And then what else? It went up and then it went down. And then blah, blah, blah. But I am trying to move away from having my hands in this very much. If you go into space, I'll give you all the specifics about everything. Again, everyone wants to act like they're a genius. Everyone wants to act like they know everything. That's not how anyone is. But low barrier to entry is critical for stuff. Like in general, like you don't need to be dumping fucking life savings into shit. Anything. I don't care what it is. But then if you go here, there's an actions button. And it'll say DEXI or TimerSwap. So for this example, we'll go over to TimerSwap. And if you have native XCH on here, and XCH is not EVM compatible, you have to bridge it with warp.green. So there's a lot to this. If you want to learn more, you can go to Telegram. I've made a million posts about it. I've told everyone so they knew. I tried my best to spread the word without being like a total perma shill, just having fun. And, you know, I think I'm going to be rewarded for that long term just because I tried to be decent about it. Like, if you try to do things right, the world has a funny way of sticking with you, but it's not all overnight success. And I'm not saying, oh, I can make max value out of this. I'm saying with only a 55 million max supply, you can do burning mechanisms. You can have fun with it. You can do giveaways, and quickly, those 1% whale positions that are like $400 or $500, it can be in more value because more people want them. And that's because we're using stuff like the Crypto Fitness Challenge, stuff like the meme contest, stuff that gets people more involved. It's all about getting involved. And it's not about wasting all your money either. Like, that's the one thing. People really think like it has to be about wasting every dollar of your life. Like you have to DCA all your money into something for the rest of your life or you'll never make it. That's not how rich people get rich, dude. Rich people get rich by just chilling and having fun and working and investing in properties and investing in stuff. Where's that one thread, dude? Anyway, if you have a Sage wallet, so the wallet client is called Sage Wallet, blah, 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 blah. That's it. And then there's a million other communities here, guys. Like, BetPay's kind of leading the charge as far as, like, BetPay is, like, the most liquid, probably most traded, probably most everything over here on xch.trade. So if you're a little less risque, Bepe might be your favorite choice because it's just got serious volume. It really does. Volume on base and volume on, volume on base and the wrap pair. So all these have wrap pairs, including GRC has wrap pairs. So I'm not going to hammer this down everyone's throat like Richard Hart did or anyone did, right? I am learning and moving forward as a project, as a passion, as a streamer, and this is part of my journey now. And I waited 6 years before I did anything like this. I learned the best I could. I gave it my all. I got letters from the SEC for doing stuff for free. What the? And so that's how I was repaid. And, so now I want to go to it. I wasn't going to do it unless I found a blockchain I trusted. And I trust Chia. And if you're not following Gene Hoffman at this point, you're brain dead. Look who's on the top of the leaderboards over here. Your boy GRC, 400 live viewers on X. YouTube is like half dead unless I'm like ranting about Richard sucking. Yeah, so let's go through Gene's situation real quick. All right, so this is Gene. Go. I've done an live interview with Gene on this channel. There's a YouTube. I asked him everything I wanted to at the time. I would ask him more now. I'm actually going to try to get him on again soon, but I want to give him, they're really pushing right now, dude. So I'm just memeing him up and that's about it. My Chia network node at home is fully synced for my project. Sweet. Real smart people doing real incredible work here on Chia. Not telling you you're about to make more money than anyone ever. Dead rugged. Oh no. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Gene Funks. I hope, and then you got to be careful about what you show because I don't always, oh wait, no, Gene retweeted that. Yeah, we're good. Chia is in the US and is working with compliance at the core. Chia has been talking to the SEC. Chia has a lower water, carbon, and energy footprint than both Solana and Ethereum and Bitcoin by a billion. Chia community wants to meet you. I agree with this. We'll give that retweets. If you believe in the Chia community, 100% Chicken and Raffles understands. Chicken and Raffles understands. Biceps in the chat for Chicken and Raffles. He understands. He understands. That was my biggest hang up, dude, too. But she is better than that, energy efficiency wise anyway. Peer-to-peer. Better. So yeah, again, I'll pull the Telegram up one more time. If you have specific questions, we can answer stuff in there. No one's coming down your throat to tell you to put all your money into anything. We're all discussing privacy. We're all discussing blockchain. We're all trying to learn about taxes. We're all trying to do it. We're trying to learn. Nobody taught us. The government failed us in that way. Financial literacy, especially in a world where they're so cutthroat about it, dude. They'll send me an SEC letter. Nobody taught me anything about this shit, and I never accepted any money from anyone, ever. Ever. Unless it was for a giveaway. Okay? So they're not playing fair either, which is something that is important to think about. There's the Telegram. You can join. I'm about to wrap up here shortly. But yeah, XCH. Hold on. Lock in, fam. Look at these memes, dude. That's me at the SEC building. It says ticker GRC above our boys. And you got to meme aggressive. I meme aggressive. So understand, I had to erase somebody out of this group in order to put myself. Although it was an easy decision because I can't fade these two. Yeah, Jock and GRC. Everyone's fucking making memes. Follow Gene Hoffman. Good guy to follow. You don't have to be sold, ENJ. You weren't you sold on Hex? Price go up technology? Weren't you sold on that, brother? You want to see what some price go up technology real quick? Random chart. Yeah, I know these fucking charts, but it's still a random one. Not random because it's not cool. It is cool. It's very cool. Oh no, and this has been out forever, dog. Forever, dog. Oh, no gains. Oh, where are the gains? Oh no. How will we ever get these gains? No, so many gains. No. I hate life. No. 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 All right, let's click another one. This site sucks at loading. That went up already for 7 months. It's been down for 6 years, 5 years. It's lower than the day it started. NJ Dub. Can you type that in? Hex is lower than the day it was launched on chain. All right, let's see if you can read this. Some coins are minted differently. Did Bitcoin ever go lower than the original? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything's different. That's what I'm saying. I can frame anything to make you seem dumb, but you're not dumb. And I'm not dumb. The truth is, you can frame stuff in your head. This just means I don't learn anything. I learn nothing. I just sit here and wait for something. We're telling you what's popping, dude. You will rue the day. Yeah, I promise you, GRC aside, you will rue the day that you faded this shit right here. This shit's new, brother. July 1st it came out. This has been the slowest cook upward that you've ever seen in your life. And look how many sellers are there. Why don't they just dump? Why don't they just dump? It's been up here for, it's new. Because people are moving to this chain because they realize that the other chains don't have real value backing. It's not about the value of the ticker. Richard Hart coins are all in his wallet and he got them all for free and he sells them on your head every single fucking day and then makes fun of you. Richard Hart has more violations, more lawsuits, more black magic underground scams than you could ever possibly imagine in your entire fucking life. You really. So like imagine when Hex went down 100 million%. You can keep saying whatever you want. Richard fake pumped that shit because he's a fucking scammer, bro. It went up 1,000,000%, and you will say that shit till the day you die, and all your money went to zero. If you traded and faded Richard Hart, you won everything. If you listened to Richard, you lost everything. Richard, big time fat liar, big time P-die scammer, big time extractor from the chain. Big time OTC deal scams. 95% of the coin is in his wallet so he can pump it. Centralized exchanges won't list it because he's a nefarious actor and they know it. And Vitalik is trying his hardest right now to end Richard Hart's Ethereum career. So when this all shakes out, NJ, will you say you're sorry? I'll say I'm sorry if it pumps 1,000,000%. If Hex goes up 1,000,000%, because it's already done that, right? That's just getting back to where we were. Then, cool. But guess what you can't do? Buy a miner and mine XCH. You can buy a bunch of useless Hex and fucking stake it while it goes to zero. with horrible penalties and horrible game theory. It was all a short-term metric. Richard had 7 months to pump that bitch, and he never has to do anything ever again in his life. He got $3 billion from you, and HEX is so low that nobody could even imagine the amount of money that got sank and lost into that unit is probably 100,000 times. Gandhi faded RH because he's goaded. He's goaded. That's why he faded RH. I was a young pup. I was but a lad. And I made a lot of money from it, but the mind sink and the lies wasn't worth it to me. If I could go back, good. The battles that I've had to fight internally because of the narcissism of that man are stupid, and I regret ever even getting involved in any of it. Because when you make a lot of money in something or even do well in it, you get hypnotized. But what if something was meant to be low barrier of entry? What if something was meant to be a little bit more slow moving? What if something the SEC was okay with? What if something that could bring block equities on the chain, bring stonks to the chain? All right, let's go to the list of network sites. And I'm giving away GRC like crazy, so most of the dumpers are primarily gone, but there's guys that have a lot still, like more than 1%, 2% of the supply. So like, we'll see how those guys are feeling, or if they're even at their computer. So if you go to xch.network and xch.trade, you'll all get the same messaging. Sage wallet is the wallet to use, crypto.com, and you can use SimpleSwap, crypto.com. You can buy WXCH on Base. You can bridge it over from Ethereum to Base. From Base to Chia Network directly. So those webs are starting to form. Something people don't realize is like it's best to get in something kind of before all the infrastructure is aligned, because then you get outsized returns as far as you got in before others. You did the work to figure something out. You invested your money into it, and you could potentially get outsized returns because the infrastructure for Chia is hard to build. So it's taking a long time, but it's finally coming together. If any postcards get sent to my house for fucking HEX, that's the most disgusting joke of a thing that anyone could ever do. Nobody looks at mail. Nobody cares about Richard. Everyone that's smart thinks he's a scammer. Everyone that's smart faded him. The only people that didn't were perma-degens that made way too much money, and now they will sit there and scam guys like this for the rest of their lives with the information that Richard gave them for free. Richard gave everyone in the world the information of a lifetime to scam anyone you want forever in a decentralized way. So continue to get scammed, daddy. How many more sacks? Wait for the wallet sack, dude. It'll blow your mind. When he does the wallet sacrifice, come back to the channel and say, I'm sorry. It don't matter if you don't like meme coins, bro. Well, you don't have to like meme coin. And I don't need anyone's respect either. I like Chia Network. I think Chia Network's going to be ginormous. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if anyone else agrees or not. It really doesn't. That's the best part about being on a blockchain you actually believe in. Like, meme coins go up because it's just a single pair between a meme coin and a native asset. If you believe the native asset's going to go up on a baseline, everything's a meme coin. But so it's low barrier to entry stuff. This is more about a learning opportunity too for new guys, like $30 a bridge. Learning how to be interoperable in crypto is critical. It's so critical. You need to do it. You need to have 5 different bridges for every single blockchain that you know, because when the time comes and Ethereum transactions are $500 and Richard's dumping all his bags and Vitalik's dumping all his bags and everyone's clogging up the bridges, these guys will shut down these bridges. Don't get it twisted. In the beginning of HEX, in the beginning of Pulse Chain, it happened. The bridges didn't work. There was too much volume. All the whales did all their shit, blah, 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 got away with everything, got all the money, distributed the exact way they wanted to. Nobody noticed a thing. Crypto is just a community distribution project. Now, if you're in the Discord, you get rewards for holding GRC. So you don't have to stake your coins. If you hold GRC and you enter the Discord and go through the CAPTCHA, you get rewards directly into your wallet just for holding the asset alone. So that's a way to bypass. That's the revenue sharing model, you know, the NFT revenue sharing model that everyone's been kind of playing with, community revenue sharing. Some of it's fair game when it's low barrier to entry, but the second that it gets higher barrier to entry, you get scammed. It's kind of like, it doesn't really matter what the numbers are, you would have done better elsewhere. So it's really more about a learning process, like putting more money into an asset that has a lot of liquidity makes sense, but playing around and learning is critical. Learning about bridges, learning about peer-to-peer, learning about everything, space scan, block scanners, new blockchain, getting interoperable with these things, and then feeling like, oh, I can't really be fooled right now because I have 100% control, right? I have 100%. So as far as like, if I want to go to Bitcoin, I can do that seamlessly. If I want to go to Ethereum, I can do that seamlessly. If I want to go to Chia, if I want to go to Base, if I want to go to Solana, I can do it seamlessly with different pools, with different liquidity profiles at any time of the day, forever. That is a reality. When the stocks come on, when the United States investors can start getting real world assets on the chain, everything's going to change. And it's not going to be Ethereum, because Ethereum is bred for absolute madness, centralized madness. It used to be cool. And maybe it still will go up in value, and I hold a lot of it, so I hope it does, goddammit. I please help. I am not willing to sell at a loss at all on that. Sell at a loss as far as like I could have sold it way higher, so I'm just going to wait. But then Richard made the top at 3,800. The co-host of the Meta stole a bunch of ICO funds. Let's look at the co-host of the Meta. What is the Meta? And that's really it, Gandhi. That's all I'm preaching, bro. But it's so much easier to get guys to funnel into an idea of like narrow. I'm trying to be narrow with it. Like I like Chia, so I want people to come to Chia. But it's not because I want them to buy the coin necessarily. Like, of course, please, by all means. I'm going to be working on it. I'll probably be streaming for a long time. Likely, more people will join. But at the same time, like, it is not about you dumping SAC into ticker GRC. That would be, in my opinion, not smart. I think that having a little goes a long way, just like Pulse Chain. Like I tell people, if you have $2,000 at the bottom of Pulse Chain, you have 100% exposure to Pulse Chain. If you make 200 bands on that shit, that's dope. You make 200 bands on something, that's crazy. And I don't care what anyone tells you, all these people that are so permanently rich that they all just say they're permanently rich, but they're anon. Like all 42 of Richard Hart's alt accounts just go online and do it. But you're poor, you're poor, you're poor. It's like, dude, are we in reality? Like, Richard's the same guy to call everyone poor and then say that kids out of college can't buy houses, which is true. Kids out of college are having a really hard time with housing right now. So this is more so like, let me see. Yeah, see, now I could have told you that. I could have told you that without having to guess his attitude. No, oh dear Lord, everyone in the chat, please. Education is critical. People make money doing stuff. You know, like I've made money trading. I've made money doing stuff. Like it's just about intentions, being honest. You know, a lot of people do copy pasta shit and say that they're fucking goat devs, which I don't like. But that's kind of Richard's meta. No. Yeah, that dude was so aggressive. Usually guys like that get super aggressive with me because they know I'll be like, dude, you're scamming. So I could tell right away he wanted me off the stage because he wanted to do his thing, and I wasn't gonna let that happen. Because I would have had to digest the information, which he never allowed me to do. He never allowed me once to digest the information. He just screamed. And then told everyone how rich he was and how poor everyone else is. It's the meta it's the new meta. Like tell everyone they're poor, tell everyone you're rich, tell everyone you're unlimited funds, and then get their funds somehow. Instead of just being like, I'm a normal guy living my life like everyone else. I have a house, I have a car, I have a family, I have investments. But no, it's not sexy enough, right? It's not sexy enough. That's what this cup did. Yeah, so like low barrier to entry. If people are trying to get you to spend thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on nothing, they're lying. Scam, always. But if people are messaging is so important. It's like, what is the messaging here? We stay based with it. Hey, someone found me. Someone found me from that. You see, Gandhi? It works. Later logic, later Gandhi, I ain't mad at you, dude. I don't know any of the details about anything. I just know that guy. I know guys like that. And they call out guys like me because I can't be bought. Unbuyable. Unbuyable. I've been. It's been tried. It's been. I just know it's illegal too, so I don't want to do it. But people have offered me money for all sorts of stuff. Mainly when I was more naive. Now people just get pissed when I'm around because I'm going to call it exactly how I see it, and I don't care about the repercussions. And there's just not that much in the world of that in the world anymore. Everyone's soy. Everyone's a little overweight and soyloid. Yes. 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 I was right. Everyone else was wrong. Oh my God, check this out. Thank God these guys are catching up to the information. Let's talk bribes. Talk about it. You tell me bribes. Look at this bribe right here. This user was active on Serenium. Oh, who remembers Serenium? I've researched it. Have you? Oh God, dip catcher. Thank God you're publishing this. I didn't have the balls to get into it because everyone would have just freaked me out, gotten pissed. But somebody brought this up to me and I started looking it up. This user was active on Serenium. This was something Richard was keen on back in the day. A contract deployed before Hex using an earlier version of the hex code contract. Yes, Richard tried to do this before. Yes, of course he did. Yes. It also swapped almost 2,000 ETH for Hex in April 2020, helping kick off the first major Hex bull run. Yes, all Richard. Richard Hart lied to you. Richard Hart lied to you. Richard Hart lied to you. GRC was right. Yeah, I need ChatGPT. I don't like using it while I'm. GRC was right. Tag everything. Richard Hart works for me now. All the information is out in the open. Do with it what you will. This is not hard to figure out. It's actually oh so simple. GRC was right. Tag everything. Richard Hart works for me now. Richard Hart was wrong. We'll start a bunch of new shit today. You think I give a fuck? I am not. I never talking shit about you though. I never really talked shit about you. I was going at that one dude. So I'm not talking shit about the projects. I don't know the projects. You know, you said earlier, you know, I don't know, dude. Like, I'm fighting a big fucking dragon right now, dude. I'm fighting this dude who's literally 1,897 days ago transferred 99 million HECS, which you could never afford now. No one could. I mean, it's just 1,178 ETH. This dude's been scamming since day one. Everyone knows it. It's public. C81D. We all know it. Yeah, so let's go check out my I need you to retweet this tweet. Retweet the tweet, spam it, dude. This is the only way to get Richard to do anything, dude. I'm telling you. I believe Gandhi's still here, and I believe Gandhi's solid. I do. I go by feel, bro. I go by feel. But seriously, guys. I didn't mean to do that twice. Whoops. I didn't mean to retweet that. I just wanted to quote it once. I get so excited. GRC was right about everything. Richard Hart works for me now. All the information is out in the open. Do with it what you will. This is not hard to figure out. It's actually oh so simple. I am going to spam this to 150 DMs real quick. BRB. Let's listen to yeah, so seriously guys, if you're in here and you enjoy my content, like this is how you get Richard to do stuff. Trust me. I know the get Richard to do stuff meta. Because I'm the only one that gets him to do stuff. Because I scream it so loud that he cannot ignore it and he has to tell his people like something. Oh, I'm going to send keychains with dildos in them all across the country so people fuck themselves some more. You fat fucking idiot. Get the fuck out of crypto. Dude, it's done. You lied. You didn't use the privacy stuff. You should have. Ben, you suck. Ben, you can't stop scamming, bro. And he will never stop. Richard Hart. Oh, you think that's it? Oh, he just bought it. It's always one. Oh, he just bought his own token. He pumped the whole thing and lied to all of you. Gave it to all his friends, OTC deal people, and got a $3 billion sacrifice after and has done not one update to Pulse Chain other than sucking. Okay. So I'm gonna play the crypto song real quick. We'll do an outro. I mean, it's what, just so we can round up things. Like I moved a lot of my stuff to XCH, not a lot of my stuff, but I moved my mind share to XCH. We did the GRC launch. We've been fudding Richard Hart for so many months in a row now that I'm starting to lose count of everything. Richard's been down only forever. All his coins are down today. They were down yesterday. They were down last month. They were down 4 years ago. Everything in Richard Hart's whole entire existence has been down except for 1 7-month pump that he manufactured himself, which is fraud. Because I'm telling you it's fraud because it wasn't published on the market appropriately. I'm sure there were side deals. You already saw this. Look at what this says, though. This user was active on a contract before HEX was deployed, using an earlier version of the HEX contract code. It also swapped 2,000 ETH for HEX in 2020. Everyone that's smart knows that Richard was dealing in this. So look this up. This is where he gets his ideas from. Yeah, thank you, Gandhi. Thank you. Thank you. What's wrong with that? Telling everyone you're a billionaire after you lost all your money over and over and over again, just to get them to keep rugging forever. 2,000 ETH is not a small amount. Dude's got 155,000 ETH now, dude. Do the numbers start to add up? And guess what? Guess who's bridging out? Richard bridged out $1 million today. A fucking million. More than you'll ever fucking have in your fucking Ethereum account, probably, if you're one of the guys that contributed to this. Because anyone that's left in this shit is almost brain dead. I'm not saying that you can't. Yeah. Oh, shucks. Little stinker. So people are starting to catch on to the information that I have been screaming all over the internet. You cannot always post something like Dipcatcher did because people aren't always receptive to it. But Dipcatcher has a good reputation now, as far as at least he's there. I mean, I know he does a lot of projects and stuff. I don't have anything to say about that. I've talked to him. He's a nice guy. Yes. The future is so bright. These memes are coming in real time. Put this obese mother effer in jail. I think people are trying to, and I think that's why he doesn't stream anymore. Yeah, I know you don't know what we're talking about, brother. I do know that. That I am 100% certain of. If this is going over your head, like immense detail about his active wallets pumping the price, plus the couple hundred ETH in the AA, where'd the ETH go, Richard? Into his bank account. This guy's used all the shadiest plays in the book, the most centralized manipulation, and then called it decentralized. Some people larked it up. Yes. And he told everyone he's a billionaire on repeat. Nobody asked. Nobody asked. That's why I'm so vocal about saying I'm a normal guy. Because I'm just going to be like, well, nobody asked, but I just told you I was a normal guy. Like, I have a house. I fucking do stupid shit sometimes. I do good shit sometimes. I have family. All that shit. I have a kitchen renovation I'm working on. It's like normal. Right? You don't have to pretend, Richard. It's okay. People will love you either way. All right? At the end of the day, this all comes down to the destruction of the family unit. Like, if you want to get really into the weeds, like feminism, the family unit, the liberal way of being, people thinking that they need material things for others to love them, which has never even been the case. Like, people, that's all marketing and sensationalization. Guys that have dated a lot of girls when they haven't had money know this for a fact. If you have ever been in a time, and not everyone has, that you had $0, but girls still liked you a lot, you'll learn that it had nothing to do with the money. It had everything to do with your attitude. It had everything to do with your drive, and it had everything to do with your honor and stuff like that. So Richard is perma-gooner liar guy all 24/7 hours of the day. He would take everything from everyone if he could, and he will die alone, probably likely in a jail cell, because he's a fucking sick fucker. And he's paying people to distribute this idea of him sending keychains all around the world. People are like, dude, he's spending $1 million on marketing. He got $3 billion of your money. $1 million marketing for another 50 mil? Because we all know ain't nobody falling for that shit anymore. Yeah, no, I know which. I'm talking about just in general, though. All right, which ones? Which ones? Name any crypto that has a more centralized supply. Name any, ever. Never one was created. No crypto in history has a more centralized supply than Richard Hart. Why? Because he's a max manipulator. Not just a manipulator. Max out permagooner manipulator. Oh, BNB price chart went straight up for the rest of history, so I don't even care. If you want to go get scammed, why are you talking about Richard Hart? Why don't you buy BNB? Why aren't you a big supporter? Why aren't you in a BNB live stream? Because the price went straight up so fast that you would have had so much money that you wouldn't even have known what boat to buy next. Not like RH and Hex. Name another crypto with an OA. Yeah, an OA. Origin drive. Yeah, all smoke and mirrors, all lies. That's why I moved over to XCH, because once I figured out that Ethereum wasn't for me, as far as investing and moving money around, learning, bridging, buying assets, holding assets, providing liquidity, you'll realize really quick that Pulse Chain 1 has no innovations going for it, and Pulse Chain 2 has Richard Hart as the founder, which makes it permanently fucked. You know how bad Vitalik wants Richard Hart to lose all his money? You realize Richard just made the local top because when he bought, everyone else stopped buying and they started selling. Hey, Jim Rat and fam. Hope everyone's feeling strong, ready to crush the day. Big thank you, Jim Rat, for hosting the GRC meme contest. This community is fire. Guys, listen. Brit right here. And again, Brit, I've never confirmed anything about your identity. All I know is your picture and your name. So, look at this. Wait, Brit, who do you be? But look what Brit did for me. The GRC anthem was created by Brit. She has 2 subscribers. We're going to drop the link to her channel. No, none. He's not spending anything on anything. He's tax loopholing and getting rid of as much money as he can so it's not on his books anymore. When we say that was kind of... Yeah, I was just making sure, Brent. I didn't want to be weird about that. I did from talking to you, I could, on Messenger, I could tell you were, but I didn't want to be like, I get so confused by everyone in the bots and what's not the bots and who's real. And this, you could be RH for all I know, trying to whistle Dixie with me. Because RH has so many alt accounts, it's sick. Oh, wait, Gandhi, the other thing about RH, how many alt accounts does the Schooner have? Like, dude, I've never had an alt account before one time. And I'm not saying having an alt account is a bad idea, because having 1 or 2 is probably not a bad idea because you can look at the information without unfollowing people. But Richard's full-time job is to just trick new users with alt accounts. Like, that's all he does. If you really look at his actions, he sells and he tricks people on alt accounts. That's it. Gigas, there's no way, dude. Gandhi. No, he's not, dude. Giga showed a picture of his body the other day. I mean, I know it could have been not real, but he had tattoos and everything. Like, it was obviously, he didn't have his face because there was a meme over it, but he's kind of jacked. And he told me I asked him what his numbers were in the gym, and he answered me, and they sounded accurate to what his body looked like. So I don't think Giga is RH. All of RH things have hex or PLS or like 5555 in them. So like every time you see an RH thing, it'll only follow like 13 or 14 people, and it's always the same people. So you can see by the following of them which ones and the verbiage. So Richard uses very, Mensa dude, fucking kind of educated. Like, his verbiage is very clear. So if you piss him off enough, he'll start writing details. And the second he starts writing details, you can tell it's him. And then he'll block you. So it's funny. Once you figure out it's him, he does block you. It's hilarious. It's such a loser thing to do. So here's the anthem, guys. I want to know smash or pass on the not smash or pass. What the fuck? Hot or not? No, what is it when it's... Yeah, I guess hot or not would be a good one. Hot or not on this anthem right here. I mean, I already know the answer for everyone. Please keep typing in the chat. This shit is so funny, and I'm so glad you're a real woman, and you are awesome. And this really made me happy, and I will make sure that I give you your props as much as you can. And if you're doing projects, just please remind me. All right, Britt, I'm going to let you know a little something about me before you get mad at me, because people get mad at me about it. If you spam me your project, I will get to it. If you send it to me once, I'll forget. But if you send it 3 times, I will look at it, because that means I know that you were trying to make me look at something. But I am like a squirrel I'm all out of control. I can't think straight all the time. So I have to be reminded, because I'm so focused on like one subject that I can't necessarily grasp everything at once. Like, there's still a crypto influencers giveaway I have to do. I have to give Leafy a shout out and do a stream with him, but I'm like overwhelmed a little bit with like data and privacy right now, and I'm just getting into the weeds way more. Yeah, dude, make more. Oh, Britt, you know what you should do, Britt? I don't know how hard it was for you to make this song or whatever, but Drac, does it. He's going to start streaming too, and he does a show every morning where he like AI talks, and he funnels his news / current affairs through Twitter Spaces. It's called TLDR with every morning at 8 o'clock. Just follow Drac. I don't want to butcher this. I joined as much as I possibly can. Excuse me. But Britt, your music skills are great. I don't know how you do it. I don't know the details, but if you want to work together and do anything else, please let me know. I'm clueless, Britt. Clueless when it comes to, I can talk and I can do the information part and I can screen share and I can get people hype. But I really have a hard time focusing on the little details like music, and I'll get there eventually. But every time you make a piece of content about me, I literally save it to my computer and use it in my thumbnail. So if you, all these memes that everyone's making, like they'll all be in my thumbnails. Adam Goldberg, who's that? Is he White Boy Summer? Or? Adam Goldberg. I get the Al Pacino, young Al Pacino thing more all the time. But he was a real one. All right, guys, I'm going to be back right after this, so don't go anywhere. But I want to know what you think about the song, for real. Let me know. GRC, Chia Network, Jim Rat Crypto Anthem, GRC on Chia Network. Sponsored by a real woman. In crypto, I have a song created by a woman, which is amazing. We are getting somewhere, guys. I am not a sexist pig. We need more women around here than anything. You know, like-minded women that are interested in the subject, of course. But I mean, they're so powerful because their presence is less aggressive than us guys. Like, guys either pick if they like me or not, right? When I go like this, Richard Hart's a fat bitch. And then everyone's like, oh, he's a little too aggressive for me. But when you have girls, that's why Richard subs out these girls like SJ, like the wild SJ, like Richard pays to promote their stuff or like gives them money in some way, shape, or form. That's why when you look at their YouTube channel, you'll see 300 or 400 live viewers, but no chats. So no one's chatting because no one's there. You know, like it's just the same 17 people that have been praying that this shit goes up. But if you see a chat that has like 15 or 25 live viewers, and the chat's bumping, you can just assume like at least there's 15 real new people watching the stream. Like people can bot all their stuff all they want, but it's all about real users. It's all about real connections. It's all about getting to know humans. That's what life is all about. Not botting, not optics. It's going to fade away. Real users are going to come back. And another reason I think you should be bullish on me at a baseline is because AI is getting so good that live stream video is going to be the only way that people can get their message across, because everything else can be faked so well that no one can tell. In about a year or so, it'll be done. Like, so this live streaming idea that you're acting, I didn't write a script for today. I didn't know I was going to say any of these words. I'm a live streamer, right? I go off of my conscience about what's going on in the moment. I didn't know if I would talk about GRC today. I didn't know. Well, actually, I knew we were doing that. I didn't know if I would stop after that or keep going if I wanted to, if I didn't want to. If there was something that popped up, I'd be here. So I think it's super important to remember messaging and who you're listening to is so important. If someone is begging you to buy their product, if someone is not making things clear, if someone is telling you that learning is not that important right now, you need to FOMO. If someone is telling, oh, don't worry about bridge security, it doesn't matter anyway. Everything works fine. Wait until it doesn't. I promise you, when those Ethereum gas fees are so expensive that you can't get out on the other side of them to sell because you come out of a bridge and you're like, oh, I didn't have $500 in ETH in every single one of my wallets. Oh, wait, I can't do a transaction today. Now you have to move and send and do that, and hopefully you even have that. And then don't get it twisted. These bridges can be completely manipulated if there's bad actors involved. We all know Richard Hart's a bad actor at this point. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Richard just made that clear. I want to know if you like the song, though. I'll be right back. And chat, and I'm going to drop the YouTube right here. Follow her up. She's going to make some more content. Well, I'm gonna press her to make some more content, just because I think it seems like she's enjoying it. And let me know if you're enjoying it, Britt. Having a little, I don't know if you're just doing this on the side while you work or having fun or doing whatever, but I bet you're enjoying it because I'm enjoying it. Just at a minimum, like hanging out with friends and making art is like fun.
This ain't hype. This ain't luck. This is Gym Rat Crypto. This is the GRC anthem.
I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. 6 a.m. rise in the zone with the squad. Metal plates clang while I battle the evil dogs. Pain is the profit, sweat is the proof. Logging the dexes, ticker GRC blowing the roof. No cap in the feed, no chill in the veins. Mirror the charts, I'm built from gains. GRC pressing hard like a preacher in flames. Pump posts like the block, bring waves to the chain. No spoon-fed picks, I bench my own fate. I don't wait on moonshots, I dictate.
Crypto muscle, crypto hustle, one rep, one goal. Bulging quads like server farms, mining blocks for the soul. While it's stack, feel like PR day flex, no stress. Huddle hard, train harder, cash out, say less. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell.
It's the GRC anthem.
He been pushing Richard Hart, bro, elevate the chain. No throne too high for those who grind through pain. RH had vision, now GRC's that flame. Igniting the pulse, no shortcuts in this game. Motivation ain't fluff, it's raw and exact. Built off losses, comebacks, never distract. Level up, lad right, that's the gym rat code. Spotting kings, living dreams while building his own road. Push the weight, push the chain, tokens jump, no shame in gain. Pulse don't sleep, it's hard and hustle. We mine our truth through sweat and muscle. Bar for bar, coin for coin, gym rat leading, not just joining. This the anthem, GRC we coined. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. Swell, this the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain mansion. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. This the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain mansion. I'm a gym rat, stacking gains in crypto. Lift heavy bars, flip heavy bags in crypto. No suits, no hype, just swinging PRs and P&L. From bench press to bull press, watch my portfolio swell. This the anthem, GRC anthem. Building legacy from the gym to the blockchain mansion.
This ain't hype. This ain't luck. This is Gym Rat Crypto. This is the GRC anthem.
Break limits, break chains, no cap, all motion. Gym bars and blockchains set the world in motion. Build for the rise, never timid, never quit. Weights in my hands, gains in my wallet. This is it.
GRC.